Hello classy people, this is Josh the Top Hat Gamer, and this week I'm reviewing Unravel. A few things at last year's E3 endeared themselves to the gaming community, quite like Martin Salin's nervous reveal of Unravel, and the game's adorable protagonist, Yarny. But physics-based indie platformers are pretty familiar by this point, so does Unravel do anything to make it stand out? Let's take a look. Unravel puts players in control of Yarny, a small yarn creature who seems to come to life from an old woman's knitting supplies, and the game follows Yarny travelling through various locations that are associated with memories of the aforementioned old woman. The game incorporates a somber, reflective tone to explore the concepts of memory and love, though I find the core concept falls a bit flat. The creative director has stated that Yarny represents moving further away from the things that you love, all the while risking unraveling itself in the process. However, I never really felt the emotional struggle, thanks in part to the game's odd structure. Instead of presenting us with a fluid progression of levels, Unravel uses a world select feature that gives off the impression of multiple, smaller journeys with less obvious risks for the main character. Additionally, Yarny lacks any obvious purpose or even personality. What is Yarny's reason to exist? Throughout the game we see it gathering human memories, though the reasons behind this are never stated, other than unlocking elements of the old lady's photo album. Plus, aside from being kind of cute, Yarny has no real personality. It's very curious, but that's kind of the extent of its character. It's this lack of clear purpose or character that stops me from getting all that invested in the adventure. Though its core concepts don't have quite the impact that was intended, the game's visuals do not disappoint. The photorealistic environments are gorgeous, and Yarny is surprisingly detailed in spite of its simplistic design. Accompanying the gorgeous visuals is a string-heavy soundtrack that gives the emotional subject matter a bit of a boost, as well as the relaxing ambient sounds of nature. While Unravel's presentation sets it apart from most other platformers, the gameplay doesn't do a whole lot to distinguish itself from others in the genre. You'll run and jump your way to the end of each level, occasionally pushing objects to create paths and remove obstacles. Possibly the most interesting aspect of the gameplay comes from the fact that our protagonist is made of yarn. As a result, you can throw out little string lassos to hook onto special environmental points or tie your yarn tail to the world as a sort of anchoring point. Using these mechanics allows you to swing around to gain access to different areas, as well as using your anchoring points to tie certain objects together to stop them from moving. The flip side to anchoring your yarn to the world is that you have less yarn to work with. This will occasionally force you to stop in your tracks until you find additional materials to add to Yarny's body and tail. Figuring out which anchoring points are necessary and untying unnecessary ones as you go is a vital piece of knowledge that forces you to think about how you play. To its credit, Unravel does some interesting things with its yarn-based mechanics and even has some pretty challenging puzzles in the later levels. Unfortunately, that's really all there is to it. The game is a competent platformer with one or two unique mechanics that allow for some interesting puzzle platforming, but does little else to differentiate itself from other indie platformers. In addition to its middling gameplay, Unravel's story didn't really resonate with me until pretty late in the game. Its pleasant visuals and sweeping string arrangements combine to make a world I want to spend more time in, even if other aspects of the game left me wanting a bit more. Unravel gets the Top Hat Gamer rating of mediocre. Unravel's core concepts may fall a bit flat, and while it introduces some neat gameplay mechanics, the game doesn't really bring anything revolutionary to the table. Luckily, its overall presentation is wonderful, and if nothing else, the gameplay is about as functional as it gets. If you're looking for an adequate platformer to pass the time, you could do a lot worse than Unravel, though at the same time, you could probably do better. Thanks for watching. I hope you found the review informative. If you missed the last review on Firewatch, click the annotation. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna do a bit of swinging.